Sukdeep129 says, is it better to read fiction or nonfiction for learning new words useful to everyday conversation? I feel like fiction has a lot of new words, but most of them have very little use case. I think that's about right. Not very little. Certainly in dialogue, in fiction, when characters are talking to each other, you get really common words, everyday words. But then it's so common and everyday that you might not come across a lot of new and useful words as often as you might in nonfiction. And then in fiction, when they're describing a scene, then you might come across words that, again, aren't quite as high frequency as you would see in nonfiction. Now, why is nonfiction usually very high frequency common words? Because the purpose of nonfiction is to convey or communicate information to you. And the purpose of fiction is to give you a picture in your mind, help you understand how someone feels, give you a sense for the suggested meaning of the story or the deeper themes of the story. There's a lot more happening in fiction. And because of that, I think there are more words which are lower frequency, more lower frequency words. And you could compare something like Harry Potter, for example, to a nonfiction book like How to Win Friends and Influence People, or The Power of Habit, right? So let's say you take The Power of Habit compared to Harry Potter. By far, The Power of Habit is going to feel more like me talking to you now than Harry Potter does. When you read Harry Potter, it's interesting, but you're going to come across a lot of what I can call flowery words, which are used to paint the picture, right? So think of a novel, think of fiction as a painting. Is a painting an efficient way to express information? Not so much. A painting is an efficient way to express a feeling or a mood or a general idea, an impression. And fiction is really good for that, generally speaking. Fiction is about getting across those feelings and moods. Now, there are different types of fiction. Some fiction is more like nonfiction, of course, right? There are so many different kinds. I'm speaking very generally. Now, nonfiction is by definition about expressing information, about trying to teach you something, share information, about giving you a new idea that might help you in your life, or telling you about something that happened in history, for example, and why someone did something, or why a group of people did something. So while the topic of that might be new and not very high frequency, the words used to talk about that topic or express that topic will be closer to someone speaking to you. Nonfiction is usually supposed to be at an 8th grade reading level and is meant to kind of sound like someone talking to you about that topic. And people don't speak like fiction sounds, usually. So, yes, I could have just said yes, but to answer the question and explain why, I think if you want to get written material that can help you learn words that are more high frequency, and that's your goal, then perhaps focus on nonfiction. There are lots of great nonfiction. Of course, there are variations here. There are many different types of nonfiction, many different types of fiction. But as a general rule, I would go with nonfiction if I were you. It's generally written to be understood clearly and to express information. So, great question. If you have any other questions, guys, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button. Of course, subscribe and check out the full English courses in the links in the description.